If he had a green scarf around his neck, it indicated that area, that home, that barn was a safe place for you to stop and hide out. If it wasn't, if it was red, then you had to keep moving. So there were things that no one knew. See, but here's what I say. People say, okay, you know, it's never been documented. And you know about documentation. Somebody's got to say, yes, it's been proven. Well, if you were involved in the Underground Railroad, would you go about telling other people that you were involved in that process? No. For fear of losing your life, your property, etc. And so, you know I certainly wouldn't. So it was never been documented. So I say it makes for a good story, and you're going to hear that story in just a few minutes. So a little bit about that. A couple other things I do want to share with you. You know, all kinds of people worked in it. All sorts of religious folks were involved in it. People got heavily involved in it once the book Uncle Tom's Cabin was written. They were called to do that. No one really knows about how many folks were involved in that process, how many runaways there were involved in that. And so you will, in just a few moments, hear about how quilts played a role in that. So let me share with you this. This is called an Underground Railroad sampler. Now, a little bit about quilts. They were hand-stitched, and just like you have comforters or blankets and things on your bed, they were a common item around the house. And so the signals wouldn't have been all 15 of these, and they wouldn't have had all 15 of them displayed at one time. Quilts are quilted with a single pattern on them, and so later on you can get up and look at this particular one. This has that pattern on it at the bottom. So it's a single pattern that encompasses or covers the entire quilt. Those is what served as signals. And so this is 15 patterns. 10 of these patterns gave specific direction. The other 5 gave some, sub directions and things, not as defined. So this is an Underground Railroad sampler. This quilt was presented to me by a friend. Her name is Cheryl. And she and a friendship group had quilted it. Now this is how it comes to be. Cheryl was retired and she took up a lot of different habits. She took up golf until the ball started going off into the woods and things. So she gave up that. She took up pottery, and she was happy with doing pottery until she said every piece that she made looked like a urinal. And so she gave that up. And so she went into quilting and she made it. And then she had heard that I was doing stories. And so she presented it to me. Now, you know, my young friends, this quilt could be hanging in my house in a place that only those that were invited to my house could see it. But I felt moved to take this quilt out and share it with you. So I created a character, and you're going to meet him in just a few months. So Cheryl created that for me. And so on that note, it gives me great pleasure to give to you a former slave and a runaway, Peter Paul Johnson. Thank you for that invite to be here to share my story. It's just kind of like it was yesterday it happened. Well, before I begin, my name is Peter Paul Johnson. Born in Rawls County, Missouri, 1844, and I was a personal servant to Master William Johnson. Now my duties as a personal servant to Master William was to make sure that his clothes were pressed, his shoes were shined, his bath water was drawn, his bed was turned back, and then I helped around the kitchen, gather the water and the fruits and vegetables. And so, but you know, and with Master William as a house servant, I traveled with him. Traveled down to St. Louis and other parts of this country, so I had knowledge of the Underground Railroad.